sharing now because
No,
you
it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
you don't
Hello,
want to.
everyone. Good afternoon. Do you hear us? Oh, yeah. Good. Okay. Good afternoon. Okay, so I think we have to start since we have a good number of participants that join it. Let's hope that this number get increased. We have a survey that we want to do with you, and having a good number for participants to start our survey is good. Okay, so let me first spend some time welcoming you and introduce our speaker for today. So good afternoon, everyone, again. Welcome to today's webinar about the societal impact of AI, ethical, legal, and future consideration in education. This is the last topic for this webinar session edition. Without further ado, in the context of this webinar, I will start by introducing our speaker for today, Dr. Christian Strack. Developed interdisciplinary expertise in research, education, and management while leading international large-scale projects, budget of more than 50 million euro and up to 200 researcher, and published more than 200 scientific publications in his main educational policy. He consults many educational institutions, international ministry, and global organizations, including UNESCO, Council of Europe, European Commission, and European Parliament. And he is member of the AI and Education Expert Group, appointed by the Council of Europe, working on the international law for the AI use in education. At the University of Bonn, Christian is coordinator for the cloud strategy and AI for education. So we are honored to have him with us to share his knowledge, his insight, and thank you for your time, dedication, and effort you spent to prepare the presentation and the survey. So before we begin, I would like to remind our participants, if you have any question, feel free to post it in the chat. We will go after the talk in Q&A session to answer as much as we can your question relating to this topic. Please, if we don't have the chance to answer all of them, you can put some of in the communication platform. We will be happy to answer them. After the presentation, the recording will be available for those who want to rewatch the recording or for those who miss it to join us today. Yes, without further ado, I would like to give the floor to our speaker, Dr. Christian. The stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Sana. It's my great pleasure and warm welcome to you all. Thank you so much for your kind invitation. I'm looking forward to our discussion. I will immediately start sharing my screen, but I would like also to invite you to discuss in the chat as well as to raise questions at any time. Unfortunately, I can only see my slides, but Sana and her colleagues will take care of the chat. That's why it's possible also for you to intervene and also to pose your questions at any time. Now I'd like to do here the screen sharing, and I hope that it is working the right way. I hope that you can see the slide right now.
Yes.
Starting slide in full screen. And yeah, I'd like to start talking about societal impact of AI, and I will look on different aspects and perspectives from the ethics, from legal as well as from future considerations, with a special focus on education, of course. And I will share my slides with this open license, and I'd like also to invite you to do the same at any time that you are publishing something that people know what to do and that they can also reuse your work in the future. Well, welcome to our webinar. And before I dive into the details about the societal impact of AI, special focus on AI and education. A short introduction to myself. I am with the University of Bonn, as already kindly introduced by you, Sana. And I'm also dealing with AI regulation at the international and European level, in particular with the Council of Europe, as you will learn in a few minutes. And I was also very happy that I was awarded with a lifetime award last year about all three parts. The research, the education, and the significant impact in the society. And that is for me most important, that we do not only education and research, but always to strive for good, best impact for our society. That's why let's have a look, first of all, before we start, what are we coming from? And I'd like now to hand over to Sana.
Yes,
to you,
I will. Yes.
We can start with a
Okay.
first introductory survey, please.
Okay. Okay. Please, Thomas, can you stop sharing? I will share the survey. Thank you. Do you see my screen? Okay, good. Then I will present it. Okay, so please scan the QR code and let us know if you are ready to start our survey of 3 questions. I want that all of you participate to this survey, please. Good. Ready. Okay.
Alternatively, you can go to www.menti.com and use the code that is shown on the top of the slide, 42471360.
Yes, we have 80, 82. Yes. I will wait till we reach the number of participants who join this session. Yes. 96, 100. Okay, 99, 100.
There is one question in the chat, and I will simply.
You don't need, I think. I don't. They have to create an account, Christian? I don't think.
Yes, the code is this one. 42,
Yes.
47, and then 1360. Yes, no need to create an account.
Yes, just use the code.
Just.
So the name is Mentimeter. Mentimeter. If you cannot scan the code, you go to Mentimeter. This is just a survey for 3 questions. We will do it before we start the talk. Yes, no question yet because I wait till all participants scan the code. Mm-hmm. 130. Okay.
www.menti.com and then use the code. I will simply paste the code again here.
Yes, you can use the browser as well.
Yes, it is available in the web browser.
Mm-hmm.
And I've just checked and yes, you can create an account, but you don't need to do that. You can simply go up at the bottom, not at the bottom, there is an invitation to create account, but if you go up, there's a big field Yes, the code to enter. This is the code to enter.
Yes, you don't need to do anything else. Just to click in the like so that we count that someone enter the survey. That's why we are waiting to make sure that all participants can join the survey.
Okay. We
Yeah,
are now
no
showing
question yet. No
the
question
first
yet because
question.
yes, we didn't start the question. I just want to make sure that we have reached the number of participants.
Okay, then let's go into the first
Okay.
question, please.
Okay. Okay, so the first question is,
And don't forget to
yes,
hide. Yes.
yes, I had.
Perfect. And now you should see the first question.
Yes, and the same thing, we will wait till all the participants submit their answer. Please do it quickly so that we can have time for the talk. Yes, it's going up. Good.
Yeah, I think the majority made it now.
I
Fantastic.
can show the answer after that, Christian?
Yes, it's still
Yes,
ongoing.
I will
People are
be
just
waiting. I will
entering,
be waiting.
and let's give them some more seconds, and then we are close to 150. And in total, we have at the moment 195. Okay, maybe now you can show the results.
Okay.
Okay, it seems that the topic is very important for most of you. We have an average of 3.7 out of 5. That is a very, very important mark. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, next question.
And let's go to the next one.
I will impact higher education. Okay, I will hide.
Very nice to read that someone is worrying that it is not 5 out of 5. Okay, we are already above 100 and coming close to 150. Excellent. And here we have 150. Maybe you can now show also the results for this one. 3.5. 3.2, of course, yes. And this also from -5 up to +5. That means it's also quite relevant and will strongly improve on higher education.
Shall I go to the last one?
And the last question, let's have a look.
Okay.
That is a personal question to you.
I'm
How
informed.
much are you personally informed in AI use? And already above 100. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. And
1.78.
okay.
Okay. Thank you for your participation.
And then let's start, and I will try to keep the time that we have also some discussion time in the end.
I will stop sharing.
Thank you.
Then I will let you share your slide. Thank you for your participation to the survey.
I hope that you can also see the full screen now.
Yes.
Okay, then welcome back to our webinar. And I would like also now to rush a little bit through the slides. Please stop me or ask questions afterwards if I'm too fast. our agenda. We have a lot on our agenda. I will start with the basics of AI, then talking about ethics of AI. Then we will dive into legal regulations of AI and explain why education is a special case. And then finally, we will touch AI and education, talking about the ethical aspects related to AI and education. We have also a look on the hyperscalers and our society. And finally, we will look into the future of AI with a special focus on education, of course. Well, the basics are also our sustainable development goals as a starting point, and we are also very happy that we have number 4 that is about inclusive and equitable quality education for all. And for me, that is most important that it is named quality education, not any education, but high quality education. That is the demand by the United Nations. The basics of AI, simply, I can say something about the history of AI, but you have learned more in the other modules. That's why I keep it short. We have it since the 50s of last century in the concept, but also in research. We have also the different concepts of weak and strong AI, plus some discussions around super intelligence. In the past, there was knowledge-based versus data-driven AI, but in our days, there are more and more hybrid systems that are combining both approaches, and they are labeled also as a generative AI or general purpose AI, leading to some creative moments here. What is AI? First of all, we need to define human intelligence. We need to define artificial intelligence. And the big question is, how do you define AI? We cannot have a talk about that, but maybe you would like to share your opinion afterwards in the discussion time. For me, it is most important to underline that AI is a unique digital tool, but it is still a digital tool or instrument. And that means there is always a human-to-human relationship in AI, because there is always one human who is developing and designing AI systems and deploying AI systems. And there is another human who is simply taking the AI systems, offering the AI systems and using the AI systems. And then the users of AI systems are also responsible for the input as well as what they are doing with the output from the AI systems, the AI results. That means there's always a human responsibility in any aspect, in any process of developing, deploying, and using AI systems. The different types of AI, I've just mentioned them before. We have weak AI, and that is everything that is available at the moment. We do not have strong AI at the moment, and the big question is whether we will ever have strong AI. Strong AI would distinguish from weak AI due to self-development, a kind of a special intelligence, and we have also to think about what it can be and how we would define artificial intelligence. And strong AI could lead also to safe decisions. And there are many arguments why strong AI could not happen. But on the other hand, we could also say there were so many developments in the last years that we could not foresee. That's why it's unsure whether strong AI will happen or not. And I will give you some more arguments in the future. There is some background noise. Maybe someone can mute the microphone that it's not disturbing. Thank you so much. Basics of AI, that was also the topic of the last modules. That's why I'm now diving into the ethics of AI, the main topic of this module, the sixth one of the Elements of AI series. We have ethics dimensions that we have to target. First of all, we have meta-ethics that's dealing with epistemology, and we have normative ethics asking which laws, which regulations should we establish and follow. And we have applied ethics. What are the recommendations how to use AI in practice? And that is leading to AI questions. What should we do in general? And for the field of AI, how should we use AI? And of course, the general question, what is artificial intelligence? Ethical AI can also be seen from the ethical frameworks that are existing. And already in the year 2019, there were 84 frameworks. Now, in our times, we have much more frameworks related ethical AI. And the first analysis was leading to these five central ethical principles, and they are still relevant in our days. There is a time pressure, and this is a diagram from a colleague of mine. He already drew it in the year 2016. That means 9 years ago, and he was simply forecasting how much the numbers of synapses will evolve during the next years. And with curiosity, he was always looking at it every year, and until last year, everything was simply increasing as it was forecasted by him. You see on the left side in the vertical axis that there is a potential growth. That means the linear graph is not a slight increase, but it is a potential increase. And in the year 2030, latest, the numbers of synapses of AI systems will go over the numbers of humans. At the moment, it's between mouse and cat. That means we have 5 years only to decide what we would like to do with AI, which kind of AI we will accept and which one we would like to regulate. And that's also the basis for the legal regulation of AI at the moment. At the moment, we have some initiatives that were launched mainly in Europe. First of all, the European Commission started already in the year 2022 with the ethical guidelines in the first draft for the AI Act that was finally approved last year. The European Parliament started also an initiative in a hearing, and I was invited with OECD and UNESCO also to contribute to that, but afterwards nothing happened. And the Council of Europe is also taking part here in the regulation, and they have also published the treaty as a second international law, the legal convention, framework convention on artificial intelligence. And I'd like to give you a very brief update on these two different international laws for the regulation of AI. First, the AI Act, its impact-oriented approach, and it took more than 3 years of a negotiation among the different European bodies and countries. Finally, there was the list of and the 4 levels of risk that were distinguished in the AI Act, but unfortunately, in the end, a 5th category was introduced during the negotiations. That was the general purpose AI. And that was leading also to some difficulties in the text as well as some weak constructions here. The main problem is that the AI Act is referring to an AI office that is a new governmental organization at the European level, and the AI office is just in the phase of establishment, and it should decide on everything related conformity assessment, code of practice, and how this can also be measured. And it can also change the annexes, and this is most important because in the annexes it is defined what can happen. That means the AI office is very powerful, or will be very powerful as soon as it will take action. and it can also change what took 3 years to negotiate and to decide in consensus in the European bodies. And if you look for education, you cannot find education very much in the AI Act, because the AI Act is for any sector, not only for education, for any sector, and education is just mentioned a few times, mainly in the Annex 3 as a high risk level. And on the other hand, we have the second international law for the regulation of AI, also for AI in general for all sectors, and it is the so-called Treaty number 225 from September 2030, developed and approved by the Council of Europe and its 46 member states. And it is different from the AI Act. The AI Act is for the AI providers, while the treaty, the Framework Convention from the Council of Europe, is dealing with the European and international core values that are human rights, democracy, and rule of law. And here you can see also a very different perspective, because here it is seen from the individual and organizational view that are using AI systems. And that's why we have also here the 7 main principles that are defined by the treaty, the Framework Convention, and you can see here also some important aspects that are not touched in the AI Act. Okay, then let's move on now to education. And first of all, I'd like also to highlight that education is a special sector. There is a special case for education and AI regulation in education. And why is education a special sector? Let's have a look. What happened in other sectors? If you look here at the transportation system, how it looked like 100 years ago and in our time now, for automotive 100 years ago and today. Agriculture is also quite different from 100 years ago, and also logistics is very different in our days. Even in the libraries, we have a huge change now. But what's about education? Education is more or less still the same, and digitalization is happening mainly not in the educational setting, but in the hands of the students and the pupils. And that's why I'd like to highlight that education is a special case, because first of all, education is a human right for everybody. And we have also the Sustainable Development Goal number 4 that is calling for high quality education for all. That means also inclusive and equivalent education for all. We have also the mandatory school visits that are setting the scene for the young children, and they have to visit school education. And finally, and that is also most important, learning cannot be forced. That means even if the pupils are in the school, you cannot force them to learn something. And that is also dealing with the promises. Learning is not a product. You cannot guarantee that with one learning application, with one AI system supporting learning, that learning will happen. And this is most important to keep that in mind, because it's so fundamental to see that and to think about that when we are talking about how to integrate AI in education. Okay, my first hypothesis that I'd like to underline is that AI is now changing education as well as the whole world more than COVID-19 and any other digital tools before. More than COVID-19, that's easy to explain, because COVID-19 is now over and we can also go back to normal business, while artificial intelligence will never be over. It will stay, and it cannot be turned off, because it is available in the web everywhere, and everybody can use it. And any other digital tool, well, it changed more than any other digital tools because AI is now influencing all other digital tools. And most important, AI can also show humans some results that humans are believing that they are talking or speaking or interacting with another human or human-like service. Even the results cannot be changed, cannot be um, seen different from human results. That's why it's so difficult to find out now whether something is created by a human or by artificial intelligence. Okay, now let's have a look how AI and education are interrelated and how their relationships are. First of all, we have to say AI and education, it's always a combination. It's a combination about from AI use in education plus education about AI. We always need both. If we would like to use AI in education, we also need teaching and learning about AI. People, teachers, but also students and parents need to build up AI literacy and to learn about AI education. And for that reason, AI use in education requires education about AI, as well as education about AI reflects the use of AI in education. We have established an AI Ed expert group, and I'm a proud member of it, appointed by the Council of Europe. The Council of Europe is the largest international organization dealing with AI regulation at the moment. It has much more member states than the European Commission, 46 member states also outside of Europe. And the Council of Europe was already established after the Second World War just to avoid that there's a repetition of a world war and to make sure that the future of mankind is also addressing the international values of human rights, democracy, and rule of law. That's why we have already published a first report here. Some colleagues of mine have written down here how to critically view on AI and education as a complex relationship. And we have also now the mandate by all the member states, the ministries of education from the member states of the Council of Europe to develop two international conventions. One as a binding law for AI in regulation. That means that will become the very first international law for regulating AI in education. And the second mandate is about the recommendation for AI literacy, how we can introduce education about AI in all the national curricula and education systems. And this is the text for these two international conventions that was adopted in September 2023. We have already discussed that last year at the AI Ed conference in Brazil, in Recife, in a workshop together with the Council of Europe, and we will continue also this year in the AI Ed conference that will take place in Palermo this year. And now, what is it? Ethical AI and education. You know a little bit how AI and education are interrelated and that there is a complex relationship between both worlds. What is exactly about? I have written down a chapter now explaining their relationship, and I'd like also to kindly invite you to read through it. It's available freely and openly with that link here. And for me, most important is that if we talk about artificial intelligence in education, we should always think about how education can benefit from AI. We should not hinder the use of AI, but we should give clear regulations, how we can use AI in education and how we teach about AI. This is most important that everybody knows what to do with AI, the teachers as well as the pupils, the students and the parents. And that is also most important that we have something at hand, not only at international and national levels, but also in our institutions, in our schools and our universities, because we have to discuss with our colleagues how we would like to use and to regulate AI for the benefits of our institution and our society. We have more publications, and I can only mention them here. There was a first study already 2 years ago about positive and negative AI scenarios. We have also a systematic literature review that we have published last year about the global trends as a meta-analysis, what happened during the last years. And we have also a recent study that is showing that ChatGPT as one of the major AI services, maybe the most known AI system, does not enhance student learning. In their systematic review and meta-analysis, they find out that there is no evidence for any positive effect caused by ChatGPT in education. And that's leading to the general question, how we can measure the benefits of AI in education. And the first one who started this at a global scale was Hattie in education. And we have to also think about a repetition of such a meta-analysis in relation to AI and education. Because at that time, of course, there was no relationship to AI, but only to education in general. 3 ethical imperatives for AI and education were formulated as a result of our systematic literature review. First of all, we should always define our learning objectives technology independent. That is most important. Technology is a means, is an instrument, but should not be the objective. We should always focus on our learning objectives, first of all, and then decide whether it is helpful or not to use technology, to use artificial intelligence for these learning objectives. Second, we have also to think about the impact of using AI in education. And that means for all 3 levels, for the individual level, for the students, for the meso level that is related to the learning design and the curricula, and for the macro level, the society and our institutions. And finally, the society focus should also look on the sustainable impact that AI can create, and to the good as well as to the bad. And we need to make sure that AI is contributing to our commons, to our society in the long run. Okay, the big picture related to hyperscalers, I will simply go through it very quickly just to keep some time for the discussion afterwards. We have AI contradictions. Sometimes AI providers are saying we need to pause, and it's so critical and such a risk, and that is just covering and denying their own interests for their own business. And that is also what you can say about the claims that AI is disruptive and a revolution for all and everything, for all people and all sectors, including school and higher education. This is not yet proven, and we also need to state clearly that it is just for own profit interests, as they always want to make it bigger and bigger to showcase how important AI is. And if we look at the increasing power of big tech companies in 2024, you see that is just booming to unbelievable numbers here. And Even the top 5 big tech account for 1/3 of all American equity value. And the profits are also unbelievable. Within 1 year, they are earning um, uh, so many billions, this is in billions, sorry, in 1 year. And that is leading also to such perspective. They pay their fines if they are not complying with the law within a few days. And this is also, yeah, showcasing that they do not have to take care of legal regulations at the moment. And finally, what we also need to note that now they are also changing their business models. They have also removed all barriers for fake news, but also for AI as a weapon. Google was proud to have banned AI for the development of weapons, but now they have recently, last month, they have changed their terms and conditions and allowing that now. And the AI future, how does it look like? Well, here is one statement, and that is yeah, reminding us or just pointing us to the strange situation that we have now more or less an oligarchy in America. And it is done by the former president in his farewell speech. I was never ever expecting that I would cite an American president, but I think he is right that we need to have a strong view what we allow and what not. That means my second hypothesis is we need to regulate artificial intelligence worldwide. And the main reason why we should do that is the future of our society. And that is what I'd like to end with, the last chapter of my presentation here. We have international crisis, and I could speak now for hours. What does it mean? Economic crisis, education crisis, media crisis with fake news, and societal crisis leading to more and more egoism worldwide, not only at the international, at the individual level, but now also at the national and supranational level. And we need something like a philosophy, open education for all as human rights. We have the Sustainable Development Goals, and luckily they are calling for quality education. We have current challenges, and even after all these challenges that we have managed to comply with, now artificial intelligence is appearing and changing the whole world and all mindsets. We have global education, and that was also leading that 1/3 of our pupils could not go to school and benefit from school education. Keep that in mind. That was a major change, and we have lost one full generation here due to the impact by COVID-19. And the future of education, I'm running out of time, but on the left side, you see all the promises that are made, but on the right side, you see also what is happening in reality in the meantime. And instead of social media, we are now facing fake news. And instead of education idea, it's more about how we can teach pupils that they can be exploited by the market and the business companies. We have popular misconceptions, and again, on the left side, you see some claims that are not validated, and we have no evidences at all. But on the right side, you see what should be targeted and how we could deal with the current situation. And the future society, well, there is now a new film that was just presented a few weeks ago, how to build a truth engine, but the truth engine could be maybe facilitated by AI, but it cannot be one single engine. It has to be many engines, and it has also to be done together with human beings. And that is the main message here, that a truth engine is always in the hands of mankind and human beings. The future of AI, well, how will AI shape and influence our society? We have already the shutdown of any research in the internet-related human language that already stopped in 2021. That means 4 years ago, because the internet language is polluted by AI, and you cannot even follow anymore any research about that. That was a long tradition and history of research in the internet, and human language is no longer seen in the internet, but only AI language. And who have ever heard about Lavender? Lavender, this is the AI system by the army of Israel, and there was one attack on a convoy from the United Nations, and the general of the Israel army said, we have nothing to do with that. We have never sent bombing on the United Nations track, and that was exactly right, because it was just Lavender, the AI system by the Israeli army. And it's not only Israel who is using AI systems for just creating and impacting wars, but many other countries are doing the same. And this is just the case that is documented very well. And with such an AI system, they can identify targets within 1 day, what lasted before without AI system for more than 1 year. That means for this reason, we have also so many attacks, not only in Gaza, but also in Ukraine and anywhere else. And future of AI, social AI is also an app that is really interesting and could maybe lead to communication crash down, because in 5 minutes you can create millions of chatbots, and they are talking according to your message, and you can also let them talk to each other. And I believe if that is spread around the world, then communication will crash down, will happen in social media. Finally, and this is maybe most important, I'd like to underline that again and again. Future AI has also a huge impact on society. Not only the nuclear power plants that are now planned to reactivate or to even build newly, but in particular, and that's why you see the picture here from the refugees standing in line as children for getting something to eat and to drink. The main important issue is about who is getting which resources, in particular the water resources. You will need so much water for cooling AI infrastructure. Power plant and energy is one part of it, and that will also be very difficult, but water is limited, and this will cause even more wars and more restrictions worldwide. That's why we have to safeguard our future and our society, and we must regulate AI, and we have also to answer these ethical questions to guarantee human rights and democracy also in the future. And the future of AI and education, how it look like that, maybe we are sitting in front and the AI systems are doing everything for us, or will it be more like that AI systems will be integrated in everything, in our operating systems, in our browsers, and so on. And that is already taking place now if you look at Microsoft and Bing services and the web browsers already providing AI services. Finally, if you look at education, educators should always be in place and in the situation that they can decide whether they would like to use AI or not. That is most important, that they still keep the opportunity and the permission to decide it. according to their defined learning objectives. And we also need to make aware educators what is happening currently and in the future, that AI is everywhere and is also introducing any kind of software. And that is also combined with the need to teach and educate about AI. That means we require AI literacy everywhere. That means my last hypothesis, AI and education.
1 minute to conclude.
Yes, and I'm already done now. Have to focus much stronger ethics, democracy, and our social future and society. We have built a European UNESCO network, for UniTwin on open education with partners all over the world. We have our networks, and you are kindly invited to join us at the working conference in Strasbourg and our network, ethical use of AI. We have a German one and a national one existing for more than 2 years now, and monthly meeting only 1 hour every month. You're most welcome. And we have a handout that I just would like to mention, just for AI beginners. If you don't know about AI, or if you would like to introduce your colleagues to AI, please have a look here. 10 statements, 1 page, and 1 FAQ list with the answering on the most questions, but also with practical recommendations how to start with AI in education. Okay, here's a wrap up of my central hypothesis, and I'm looking forward now to discuss them with you. You can maybe remember we had these 3 questions in the beginning, the ethical AI questions, and I would like also to broaden them now. We have in the fields of ethical AI the question, how should we use and regulate AI? Ethical AI and education has also to think about how to integrate AI into our educational setting and learning objectives, and how to teach AI. And AI and education for our society has to decide what can we do and how can we sustainably benefit from the AI use. Before we end, we have maybe the time for starting again the survey. I don't know, Tana, you will tell me.
Yes, I will do. Thomas, can you stop sharing? Thank you. Then it's about the same survey, but next time we want to see if we have different. Do you see my screen? Yes, okay.
We can see your screen.
Then let's go. So please again scan the code.
By the way, Christian, could you check if your video is still working?
Christian, are you still with us?
Hello?
Hello? Christian? Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yes,
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Okay, we have 100.
Yes.
Let's wait a
Maybe you
little
can
bit.
start the first question and then.
Yes, I will wait till we have 200. This time we have extra time for 10 minutes because we have to answer the survey and the question that you put in the chat, and I have to conclude this session and give you some insight about the exam. So sorry for not respecting 1 hour. I have said last week that we have extra time for this last session. Sorry for that. For those who are not able to stay for the extra time, they will find the information in the platform.
Yeah. In the meantime, I could maybe answer one question from René.
Yes, please.
He was asking whether I was attending the AI Summit in France. No, I was not. But I have spoken with participants because this was an intergovernmental meeting and only representatives of government could participate in that. And actually, it was also discussing how such different situations, and that is the second part of your question, are dealt with in AI regulation worldwide, because the countries have very different conditions, of course. And here we need also a balance to ensure that countries have similar, if not the same, access to the technology, and countries have to support other countries who are challenging with their resources. But that's the same like the Sustainable Development Goal 4, because here we have also to establish a balance between the different situations in different countries.
I started the survey.
Thank you so much. I hope that was answering the question.
Mm-hmm.
And in the meantime, please continue to ask more questions in the chat.
Yes, because we cannot share the questions since we are sharing this survey. But if you have some question that you can read in the chat by yourself, it's fine.
I can read a question.
Yes,
That's from the beginning, actually. What if by Sam, what if an AI becomes sufficiently advanced to create its own version, which it can use to interact on its own? In that case, would there be no human intermediates? Can you enlighten that question a little?
Well, it's not possible for AI systems to develop their own system as long as they are not connected to any kind of living subjects. Meaning, the AI systems are developed in such a way that they can only do automatization. But the situation would change if we would have a combination of AI put into the brain or connected to our brain. And this would lead to a very different situation. That is also the discussion or starting point of discussion related superintelligence, how AI systems could maybe become independent from human development and design. But at the moment, it's not possible.
Then a question that relates to that by Arno. How can a strong AI be regulated? Sounds like a conundrum to me.
Well, actually, that is what I said with the time pressure, because we need to have a look within the next years to find a solution and to define how we would like to regulate also strong AI. If a strong AI is already in place and it is not regulated, then it could also become independent from our regulation, of course, yes. But yeah, we have always to safeguard that there is one option that we turn it off, and this is the magic red button in the films, but yeah, or the plugs that you can simply take away. But yeah, for international global systems with balanced bandwidth and balanced energy consumption, that is not that easy.
Mm-hmm. We have plenty of questions, actually, so maybe you could reply to them shortly. So how are the risks in the AI Act defined? Who defines the risk when an AI is used or implemented somewhere in a context?
Yeah, the risks, you may remember that we have 4 risk levels, and next to them we have the general purpose AI as a fifth dimension. The four levels are defined in the AI Act itself, and in the annexes, it is defined for which situations, for which sectors it is applied to, and which sectors are belonging, or which situations from one sector are belonging to which risk level. And the most situations in education are related to high risk. That means the second highest level.
Mm-hmm. And here's the next question. I think you should see it on the screen already.
Yeah.
By Marcio. Why was the number of synapses of some animals and humans shown in the graph of synapses number per year if a natural intelligence is still ill-defined? It's a very specific question.
It's about ethics. You can complete the question.
Yeah, okay.
In addition, wouldn't be this a type of discrimination with other species hurting somehow ethics? This means bees are less intelligent than cats and humans, for example, if again intelligence is ill-defined.
But actually, it's simply just, it's not a comparison between different species. And just showcasing that for the different species, we do not have progress in the numbers of synapses. While the number of synapses are growing dramatically in AI systems. This is just the point that this diagram would like to make. And yeah. We have also to say, of course, the number of synapses is not the same quality everywhere, but yeah, just to showcase what a dramatic increase is there.
Okay, okay. The next question. How would it possible to assess the ethics of underlying models if the companies providing the models do not reveal how the model was set up? Is there a kind of test kit? For example, number of questions, queries? No.
This is the ongoing debate at the moment, whether we can develop such a test bed or sandbox that is measuring what the models are doing. But in fact, at the moment, it is the situation that we do not have such a test kit or a sandbox model, because indeed, AI companies are not revealing. Sometimes they cannot even tell us, because the algorithms that they are using for calculating, they are always a mixture of different components, and even this experts cannot oversee this complexity of calculations anymore. And that's why it's unbelievable. It would also take such a long time to manually and evaluate this by humans.
Mm-hmm. I think this connection connects very well here. Are EU regulation not slowing down the development and progress of the AI? In another thematic, EU did break a lot the development and progress.
This is always a claim, and people are complaining about that. But no, I would say not at all, just the contrary. AI companies in Europe are much more reflecting and aware of the potential dangers and addressing them, and that could also offer them a huge business opportunity in the future. Think about the GDPR on the data privacy and protection law. This was also claimed to be a break for all European business, but after publication, all other countries in the world, including China and United States of America, has adopted it, and sometimes even stronger than the GDPR law from Europe. And that was just the contrary here in this case. We don't know what will happen, but at the moment, you are not hindered to develop AI systems by yourself by the AI Act, as it is not yet in action, and it will also take some more years to influence the current developments.
So now we have some education-focused questions following. What are the reasons that education is lagging behind in digitalization compared to logistics, agriculture, And do you not think these reasons will be applicable for integrating AI as well?
Definitely, there are specific conditions in education and in education systems. First of all, we are lacking resources. It's not a business. That means people are not investing in it, and it's sometimes the opinion by ministries or the governments that we can save some resources in education and not, understanding that every investment in education is also turning back in the future. That means what we are not investing in education will cause much broader damages. And that's why it would be very beneficial to invest in education, but it is not done. And if you compare the situations in the different countries, you can see how less is spent during the last years. And it's unfortunately decreasing and not increasing the investment in education.
A question relating here by Nadine. What would you recommend to people working in education on how to deal with AI? The survey showed we think it will become very important to most people and they don't feel well prepared. How do you suggest to fill this gap while bearing in mind the ethical pitfalls and maybe the lack of funding?
Yeah, that was at the end when I was introduced the handout that we have developed. We have done that in our community of more than 40 universities now. And all of us are lecturers in our own universities, always dealing with the same questions from the colleagues. We are running trainings and workshops to introduce how AI will change our society as well as our own universities. And this is most important, that you start these discussions, that you discuss with your colleagues what is it? What does it mean for you? How you would like to use it in the future? And also to come to consensus, because the situation is very different from discipline to discipline, from educational institution to educational institution. If you are a school, you have to deal with minors with special rights, but also they need also special protections. In universities, different. You're talking to adults. On the other hand, you have some disciplines in the universities who need also to focus on AI. For example, you cannot develop any pharmaceutical products anymore without AI. That in these sectors, you are heavily relying on AI systems. On the other hand, in some other disciplines, it's just contrary, that you need to carefully reflect how you'd like to introduce AI, for example, in language teaching. And but it's still possible. It's can also benefit a lot in language teaching if you reflect about the results.
This one relates very well by Tia. Do you think AI, for example, MOOCs, will replace formal higher education? Will they be equal in the future? And the person thinks education is a basic human right. And that's a little bit ironic because in some countries, the expense to get a diploma is super expensive and MOOC could democratize that access.
Well, yes, this is an ongoing debate, but online courses, even MOOCs, are already existing since the year 2008, and they have not replaced formal higher education for several reasons. Because you always need also not only a certificate, but a trusted qualification from a trusted institution. And in the universities or anywhere else, you're also not learning only cognitive knowledge, but what you are learning is more the way how you do research, the way how you would like also to focus our future society. And education as a basic human right is a little bit ironic, yes. That's true if we look at the formal higher education and the increasing costs for them in some countries. On the other hand, it's even more important in such a situation to claim for it and to tell people it's so important to invest in education. Education should not be comprehensive and expensive good, but available for everybody. And this is just something that we have to repeat and to repeat.
One more question and it should be the last one because time is
Okay, I wanted to actually pass
yes,
over to the
this one.
exam already.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you, our
Thank you.
speaker. We appreciate the time and the effort you put in sharing your knowledge and answering the question. We have a lot of questions, which means that your topic is very interesting to all of us, but the time doesn't allow us to go through all the questions. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we come at the end of this webinar series, I would like to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude to each one of you for your active engagement, participation, and throughout the session, and for your for the read of the online chapter. Also, thank you for the question you put on the communication platform. It has truly been a pleasure to share this learning experience and be your host for this webinar. Before we conclude, I would like to remind that if you wish to obtain a certificate from the University of Luxembourg, you are required to finish reading the online chapter and get the certificate from the MOOC, and to successfully pass an exam. The exam has been designed to assess your understanding, to check your understanding. It's not complicated at all. It's easy. It's about multiple choice questions that I'm sure you will be able to answer to them easily. So the exam will be available for 1 week period from Monday 34 March from 12 to Saturday 29 March to 12 as well p.m., during which you must complete it within a 2-hour time frame. So you have enough time, more than enough time to answer this question. Once you begin the exam, you will have exactly 2 hours to finish it. I repeat, 2 hours. So no stress, you will be comfortable to pass the test. Therefore, it's essential that you choose a suitable time that work best for you. You are allowed to 3 attempts. More information about the exam will be included in the format. The schedule will be in the platform of communication. Already it has some information. I think you just need the link and other information in how to pass it. But
I gathered some more questions.
Mhm.
So just to add here, a person asks in their attempt, yes, you can go back and forth during the time frame of your attempt, meaning that you can go back to a question and decide differently. But once your time runs out, then it's over. Wrong responses in case that you should fail one attempt and you have 3. In case that you really should fail one attempt and it's not going to be so difficult, we promise you. But in case you should fail one attempt, then wrong responses will not be shown. So that means you cannot just fail one attempt and get the responses and then do the second attempt. And there will be 30 questions, 5 questions for each webinar. And yes, you will have, it's multiple choice. You're not required to put something in and you have 2 hours. The certificate from the Helsinki MOOC can be uploaded right next to the webinar space and to the exam space. There will be a button. It will be self-explanatory. You will also get a handbook or a study guide. So it's not a handbook, it's a study guide. We will create a study guide for you that will, apart from watching the recordings of our sessions, help you study for the exam. And this will also be uploaded right next to the exam. The exam itself in your Moodle is visible as of now, so there's a placeholder, but the content is still hidden from you until the mid or end of next week. Once we open the content, you will first find the study guide. This will be a few days before the exam opens. And then once the exam opens, you will find the exam and the button to upload your certificate from the Helsinki MOOC. And you will also, after finishing the exam, after this period of the exam runs out, then there will pop up a button which will allow you to just automatically download your certificate of completion here from Luxembourg.
Okay, I encourage you to review the materials we have provided. It's about the recording and the PDF of the speaker presentation. So the question will be from the materials we give it to you, but not from the online chapter, just the webinar. Should you have any question, don't hesitate to ask us in the communication platform. Once again, thank you for your time and dedication to this learning journey. I wish you all the best in your exam and for future endeavor. So it has been an honor.